order to bring you up to speed of what I'm kind of thinking about lately, I have to tell you about my thought process. There's a gentleman, William Ramsey, who's like, I think he's just like reposting old videos from the past that are really like pertinent to today. And he had a gentleman on, they were talking about the Crowley cult. And I'm familiar with the Crowley cult because Bob Osborne is like James Casboult's like recent like quote unquote handler. And so he's spending a lot of time with him. He's spending a lot of time out there. Bob sent me his book, which was so nice of him to do. I have it right here. The Tales of Zener. So like Crowley had this cult in Zener. I haven't taken it out of the package in a while. I guess he only made like 666 of these books. And so, he sends it to me and it's like, I'm kind of like scrolling through it and it's just like a lot of witchcraft and he wants to document all the faces, all the places. This is good. There's a lot of pictures about the history of the Crowley cult. Here he is. Where'd he go? Oh no, that's not him. But it's like a good book with a lot of pictures. And it is explaining the history of the Crowley situation. Now, I understood the Crowley situation when I was going into the beer cult because I was like, these are all like Crowley magic people. And, the headquarters for Scientology is like just west of where Crowley had his compound, which Bob Osborne ended up buying. So what's the involvement? And I'm listening to this podcast by William Ramsey and his guest about the Crowley cult. And I'm looking at, like, as I'm listening, I'm also Googling images of people. And I'm like, well, this Timothy Lear or whatever, Timothy Leahy, looks a lot like Bob Osborne. And then Ken Casey looks a lot like Miles Johnson. Like, are these people just not dying? And in the biography of, was it Tim Leahy, I think? The frick. This is gonna bother me. Timothy. I'm sorry. I don't edit my videos. I just go live and just start talking crap. But all day I'm like listening to this. Leary. It was like the guy who wanted to introduce acid as a means to, this would be, I think, Bob Osborne. He's like, wanted to introduce acid as a means to find some kind of like spiritual ascension. And there's a huge problem in the New Age and the occult where it's like they're using meth, cocaine, and LSD to like, it's like they're trying to find like another way out, it seems. And I don't know how it's going to work yet. If it's even possible. But it seems to me that like these people are not dying. Like you all know, you see these celebrities, they're like repackaged. Elon Musk is repackaged from Isambard Kingdom Brunel, who built all the tunnels in England. And he has the same job he always had. These people are not dying. Like there's like this other thing where like they found a way to kind of escape the covenant of Jesus Christ, it seems, to like, so Timothy Leahy had this thing about like stepping off the wheel. He was like obsessed with women and having sex, but he didn't want any kids, and I don't think he had any kids because he wanted to like step off, the wheel, the wheel of karma. But that's also interesting because if Bob Osborne is also Timothy Leahy, then Bob, like some chick shows up at his door. She's like 30, he's like 60, and she's like, can you please just like impregnate me? And he did it. So apparently Bob Osborne has a kid with some chick who just showed up at his door one day and is like, can we please like have a kid? So I mean, maybe that's a good thing. But anyways, nothing against that. It's like these Crowley people, I don't know, are they just like scraping at the bit? Like, do they just like not know what to do anymore? Because it seems to me there's this whole group of people within like, they don't call themselves satanic, but like New Age and stuff. It's like they're trying to find a way out of samsara. Scientology, certainly, they tried to introduce technology where they could just like pour their karma into innocent victims. It's like there's like all these people in the world that are just trying to like find any other way out of samsara, the karma, any other way. And I believe that's what like the whole Crowley influence is. And so in this podcast, like I already knew this, but I like kind of long forgot because it's been a while. They're talking about how like all of your major politicians, celebrities, like everyone that has influence, they're all Crowley people. They're like Barbara Bush could have been like Crowley's kid. Like it's Crowley influences like all around this whole niche interest in the internet. And can they do it? This is what I'm so interested to find out. Like, can they do it? Is it possible? Or is this the end for them? And I believe, I don't know, I tend to believe that this is the end for them because they're finally finding out they can't do it. This is why Joe Rogan, being the reappearance of Aleister Crowley, is starting to talk about Jesus Christ. Why did Bob Osborne have a kid finally after lifetimes of saying we want to step off the wheel, if I have my facts correct? Why would they do this if they didn't have a change of heart? And then those who don't have a change of heart, who can't find a change of heart, or we're just on kind of like generationally created to just be that of like a walking vessel with the spirit somewhere else. I mean, why is Donald Trump saying he's not going to heaven? People think Charlie Kirk died, and it looks like he died, but I'm just like, no, dude, these people don't die. They don't. There's something different about them. That was the whole thing about Charlie Kirk's death. I'm like, they don't die. Like, there's something different about them. People like me, we reincarnate and we just like, I guess we had to like tie up loose ends, and then we have a covenant through Jesus Christ for life extension. And like, we live on that way. They've been trying to live on an entirely different way. And I don't know if our realities are going to split. And I suspect a lot of the homeless on the street are people who just didn't want to do this anymore. And so they took a life of poverty just to get out of the cycle. The desperation in these times. But I'm also optimistic that the Crowley situation had an ability, but I don't know how you can do it without Jesus Christ. I don't know how you can do it without the covenant. Because I do believe that Jesus Christ is the Most High God, and I believe the whole reason why that thing was set was it was set in stone. So these two brothers with their different versions of creation could finally find a way out through one singular covenant that I believe Jesus Christ made. And I think since like 2,000 years from then, people have been trying to find other ways out. And like most recently, like in the 60s and 70s, it was like LSD. It was Crowley shit. This is why Crowley has his freaking trademark on everything. Not his physical trademark, but his spiritual trademark on everything. These people are not dying, dude. All these people in New Age, like Bob Osborne, Miles Johnson, they're not dying. That's why they're so weird. And I don't knock it. I'm just like, jig is all the way up, I think. It seems. You're not dying. And what is the relationship between us and them? What's their beef? They want to get out some other way other than Jesus Christ? Other than love. Here's the thing. Other than love, like they pervert love into lust. And so they think that if you take away human emotion, you become more existential. And, you know, from my side of creation, it's like you can't do that because then creation would stop. You need love. They don't want to do it. Like, they're the people that don't want to do it. They're like, we're going to step off of the samsara, the karmic cycle, by not loving, just being steeped in hedonism and not having children, abortions galore, just have fun, just do acid, just party, just have tribes that are all about the same thing, and they're dying off, right? Because it's just them and a bunch of their old friends. They're all old now with no kids. They're all old with no kids. These are just my speculations. I don't claim to be an expert on this. This is just something that is kind of coming full circle for me. It's like people have children for better or for worse. People have children because one person is controlling. Or if both couples are not controlling, then guess what? That's probably good karma. It's weird because all like babies are so cute and like cuddly, not all of them, but you know what I'm saying? It's like people have kids and it's like, is that kid for better or for worse? For better or for worse? But there's one more thing I wanted to say and I'm trying to remember. I don't know, check your comments. Leary, thank you. Brandon, Need to Fish agrees. Tim Leary, I recommend looking into this. Harvard psychologist, criminal, but very influential. He's very influential because it was when they were like introducing acid and then the FDA and the feds were like, this is illegal. And some chick got him out. How are your chickens? They're good. They're getting big. They're going to lay eggs soon. Yeah. Sean hates abortions. Or Need to Fish hates abortions. But it's like a culture of life and a culture of death. And like, I just don't think that they're going to win. I mean, is it a matter of like win or lose? I don't know. The Crowley situation is very dicey and like he has his influence over the whole world. He's influenced like his whole signature is on everything with all these politicians. Like they're not dying, dude. They're not. They're just like being repackaged. They're not doing this whole thing of like, I don't know, cycling. I'm trying to remember that thing I was trying to say that I wanted to say that I want to remember. Something about having kids that's like a good thing. It's like, yeah, the culture of life, culture of death. I mean, I understand the sentiment that the Crowley cult is making, that they don't want to continue the cycle of karma through having kids, but at the same time, it's like if you don't, then like your creation dies. Then it's a bunch of them and like none of us. And they're kind of predatory towards us, you know? It's true. They're predatory towards us. Unfortunately, this is the reality. Is it a singularity where like we don't impose upon them and they don't impose upon us? Is it even possible? But I do believe there was something made salvageable about this world. But people are like falling away like crazy. They're crazy falling away lately. Crazy falling away. Well, maybe the thing I wanted to remember would come to me, but it's not at the moment, and I hate that. But that's it for now. Check out Crowley Cult, like learn this stuff and see how it's influenced the whole world. I think that Bob Osborne is Tim Leary, and I think that Miles Johnston might be what is it, Ken Casey? Because these people are not dying. They're not dying, dude. And it's probably trickled out into the whole community. And they do the same things that they did in their, if I'm correct, they're doing the same things they did in a past life. Tim Leary wrote books. Bob Osborne is a publisher. Ken Casey was a filmmaker. Miles Johnston is a filmmaker, basically, in his own right, and helped to create MK Ultra. Ken Casey was complicit, was completely participating in the creation of the MK Ultra. They were both involved with Crowley in creation of MK Ultra. And what is Miles Johnston's whole thing? It's MK Ultra.